Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Benjiro with you, and just picked up Brink, and I figured I'd talk a little bit about my first kind of impressions with it. We're playing around with the single player and the multiplayer, but I'll jump into the single player first, because that's where I went first when I started playing it. Right off the bat, if you're kind of familiar with the way, if you've been following it at all, I actually misunderstood how it was going to be, how the single player was actually going to be laid out. Um, See, what I thought is that it was going to be kind of a, you're like, no matter what you have to do, like, you can play all by yourself, or you can play, kind of like with people and against people. And it still has that option, like you can play alone, like I do, like I'm playing here, and I'll explain why I'm doing that in a little bit. And then you can play it in a way so you have four, I think out of the amount of people that you can have on your team is like 6 or 7. You have four on, or 8 even, if I remember reading the label, the maximum players is 16. It's this is security versus the rebellion, and you can have, even in the campaign, it's competitive, which is kind of cool. The story systems is not really a story here. It's just kind of like you do particular things to unlock, maybe rescue a hostage or hack into a mainframe or something like that. And what I don't mind that. You know, it's it prepares you for the multiplayer side of the game, which, I mean, I can't really complain with that. Like, that's pretty much the idea of most first-person shooters, is to prepare you for a multiplayer experience or something like that. But one thing, it's kind of difficult to wrap your head around, because there's 4 classes, and there's engineer, there's the operative. The engineer, I mean, he can set up turrets, things like that. He's able to improve people's weapons, and able to make them a little bit stronger. There's a soldier who's able to give ammo to his teammates or himself, which I think is really cool. The medic is able to, of course, as a medic, I mean, he heals people, he can heal himself, he can revive downed people, and there's the operative, who's kind of the sneaky guy. He doesn't really have an ability, but if he comes up onto a killed opponent, he can actually disguise himself as them, which is pretty. It's kind of got that Team Fortress 2 element. Now, you're gonna find that I make that Team Fortress 2 reference, that illusion, quite a bit. When it comes down to it, basically, what I found with the gameplay style is it's a mixture. It's a weird stew of, I find, Halo 3 or Reach. I don't know. It's got Halo like taste, with a nice splash of Team Fortress 2, with a slight dash of Mirror's Edge with the hardcore elements, and of course the Team Fortress 2 with the class-based, the objective-based gameplay, and then Killzone just based on the continuous objective-based gameplay and things like that. I find it's like Halo mostly because the way the controls feel, the way you're moving about and things like that. I don't know. I don't really find it as much as it kind of seems like a Killzone kind of game. Like, it's a beautiful game aesthetically, but gameplay-wise, I find it really, I can balance it like Halo. I don't know why that is. I play it and I'm like, yeah, this is like Halo kind of. I don't really mind it, but it's this weird stew of different games, all into one pot. As I mentioned before, I didn't really want to talk with the multiplayer right off the top, for this reason only. I tried jumping into the multiplayer, and I don't know whether it was just my connection, but I tried to jump into multiple lobbies, and it is just tremendously laggy. I don't know if this is a problem that Bethesda and Splash Damage are trying to fix, but I mean, it could just be my connection. I had everything. I had my iPod, my phone, my laptop all turned off the internet, and just my Xbox was connected, and it was laggy like crazy. It was registering a green bar for everybody in the lobby, but it was incredibly choppy. I might upload just a snippet of what the multiplayer gameplay is like. Maybe my luck could turn around and I get the good connection so I could be able to properly review the multiplayer. I don't really want to consider this a review, more of my first impressions. So I can't really say too much about the multiplayer considering the laggy connection and whatnot. let's kind of jump back in. You earn experience. You earn experience not only in the single player but the multiplayer aspects, and it's pretty much just one giant experience gala. The experience and points that you earn in single player carry over to multiplayer, which I think is kind of cool. Because I mean, like, if you can't do particularly well, like, at multiplayer, and yet you have friends who are kind of like, yeah, I want to play a lot of multiplayer. Well, you can go and you can play single player, and you can level up the same way they level up, only you're doing it with bots. And the bots I find the AI in this game is actually pretty good. This mission in particular, or it could be another one, the next one, I don't know if I have it recorded on this gameplay, is a bitch to complete. And you know, it's really an interesting idea. Well, it's not as much a new idea as I find, just a good idea, for the people who don't necessarily like to play multiplayer games. It's kind of like combat training almost, except if you're familiar with Black Ops, it's like combat training, except everything is put into one main wallet. The ability points are set up as you rank up. For every level that you go up, you get an ability point, and you can spend those points on different abilities, hence the term ability point. But you can reward yourself with things for either like your character individually or the specific class that you pick. Now, I think if I go up to this control point, no, you in game you change what class you are, and depending on what class you are, can choose whether you can actually complete the objective or not. The way the objectives are set up are via the objective wheel, which you can see right down there in the bottom left corner, the up on the D-pad. Hopefully I access it sometime just so you guys can kind of see what it looks like. But as you can see, you see that yellow, the yellow wrench kind of over there. That means that the objective at this point in time requires an engineer to hack into. I think it was a safe that they needed him to get into some intel. So it's kind of cool that they mix it up. It kind of gives, like, if you're particularly prone to being the engineer, it kind of gives you something to do, like kind of something to work toward. It's a really cool feature, though. I find my favorite class being the medic is that when you if you're aiming at somebody and you start shooting them, you can actually see what their health is, as opposed to being a soldier or an operative. You don't have that option. And another thing, when you go down like this, you'll notice I go down a whole bunch. Like, I'm still trying to get familiar with the controls, but I'm not going to knock a game because I don't know how to play it well. I see this, it's kind of sucky because, look, the timer to just respawn just went out, and it doesn't really give you that default switch over if there's no, I happen to get lucky and there was a medic nearby. But if there's no medic nearby and you just happen to have your controller over there in the waiting for a medic thing, like, you're screwed. You have to wait another 17, 18 seconds until you can respawn, and I didn't really like that because I did that a couple times and I kind of found myself getting bored. Also, I'm losing mission time, as you can see up in the top right corner. So right now I'm trying to cover the AI, trying to hack into this safe here, and I continually try and get it done. So then I realize, I think at this point I realize that he's not doing too good of a job. Yeah, so I go up to this command post, and if you look here, if you want to go back and pause it there, you see the wheel there. You get your the classes you can pick. So I switched to an engineer just so I can go complete the objective, I think. Or maybe I'm still no, I am an engineer. I can tell because down on the D-pad, down in the left corner, I have landmines. I figured I'd wait out the medic here. Medics have the ability to give out health, and like I said before, they have the ability to see people's house. I don't know if I already specified, but engineers are able to build and construct turrets, as well as upgrade turrets and drop landmines down. They're actually the only class that kind of has landmines, kind of like the only thing you can use C4 or claymores. Kind of run around here. The guns, you know, they're not bad. They all feel the same, pretty much. Like, at least compared to a Call of Duty or Halo, you get a pretty diversified weapons library, as opposed to this game. I don't know. I don't really find the guns too diverse in the way with their recoil. You really gotta burst fire is one of the the main things that you gotta remember to do, as opposed to just spraying madly when you're aiming down sights, because you won't get much done there. But it's just typical. There's your ARs, your SMGs, there's your shotguns. Haven't seen any sniper rifles. I don't know if that's gonna be an option. Just based looking at these the maps that I've played so far, there aren't really those long sights that you can snipe down and things like that. Also, I haven't gotten access to the. You see, this is for instance one of the things that you do as an engineer when there's a particular objective that an engineer has to complete. So I'm trying to hack into this safe, and it's going to take a little bit. I'm only at 12%. But what was I saying? Sniping down long sights. I haven't gotten a chance to play around with the lightweight class yet, which is what I'm really looking forward to doing. Just kind of running and gunning and sliding in and down around places and things like that. But I haven't gotten a chance to play as the heavy and the normal class. This is the normal class. See here, he's got kind of a standard body type. And he's of course he's going to be your average soldier. He can jump, as opposed to the heavy, who can't really jump up and over tall obstacles, things like that. But I'm really looking forward to playing as the lightweight character, and I'll probably upload a gameplay of that once I get him unlocked, because you have to earn a particular amount of experience in order to unlock the weight classes. One thing I haven't really touched on yet is the customization for the characters. There's a lot of customization. I think that was Bethesda who had a hand in that, because you can change your face paint, and you can change what you're wearing on your face, what you're wearing on your head, what kind of hair you have, the kind of like skin color, the kind of face color, different hair color. There's so many different shirts, jackets, pants, all this. It's pretty incredible. I was very impressed with the customization options, because they don't want you to be the default, everybody looking the same, or everybody looking different, like everybody kind of just looking like the same guy. Kind of typical first-person shooter. They really wanted to give a diverse feel to the characters, which is a great addition by Splash Damage and Bethesda. If you notice a little bit earlier there's actually 3 engineers working on the objective, and that's what came out right there, is the data key for this particular objective. It's kind of cool that you don't just have, it's kind of like picture and search and destroy. Instead of having one person arming the bomb, you have 3. And I think that was a really interesting feature that they have in this game, is that multiple engineers can be trying to pry open that safe at the same time, or trying to work on an objective at the same time. Can't really think of anything much else to say as far as first impressions go. Just basically, the achievements are pretty good. They're pretty easy. I unlocked about 10 so far, and got the vector here. But the objective wheel is something, if you're going to be playing, that you got to keep your eye on all the time, because I find it's your best bet in getting is maxing out experience. There's also achievement for switching to an objective in the wheel, and then completing it. So it's just a little tip if you're an achievement whore. And but other than that, I can't really think of anything else to say. I hope to get a little bit more experience under my belt, and maybe I'll kind of do a proper review with the cuts and everything, presentation, all that. Presentation, by the way, from what I've played so far, the game's beautiful. Really nice textures, great lighting. The explosions are kind of shitty, but I like the art style that they took with it. But yeah, I'll hope to bring you a proper review in the future. But until then, guys, don't really have much else to say. Expect some gameplay, maybe some commentaries from me in the future once they patch up multiplayer, which is something that I really hope they do, because I'd really like to be able to play some competitive, because this just seems like a competitive kind of game. I'd rather not play by myself with bots. It's not the reason I bought this game, but I'm not going to knock it for that, because I know it'll be improved over time. But until then, guys, just have a good one.